Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk, Real Sports with my co-host Michael Sanchez, and I'm your host Anthony Sanchez. Well, it's been a lot of interesting things going on in sports. Definitely have something to talk about in the Dolphins. I don't know how you fans feel out there, but me personally, if I was to give the Dolphins a grade, I would give them a B minus. What would be your grade for the Dolphin draft?
Honestly, I'd have to give them about C plus to B minus. What I do like is they addressed all their needs. The only thing I was a little disappointed in was at the safety spot. I wish we would have went out and got somebody to fill in that hole, since we only got Delmas and Jones and nobody really to back them up. Also, I would have liked to have gotten a bigger receiver. I know you're a pretty good fan of Jarvis Landry. You think he's a good guy. A lot of Dolphin fans aren't too happy just because they don't know these names.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. We have to give these guys a chance. I mean, if you look at Dolphin history, believe it or not, most of our great players have come from small schools. People schools you never even heard of. Like right now we have quite a few guys here. Billy Turner, that we took in the third round with the 67th pick from North Dakota State. Most people are going to say, oh my God, North Dakota State, why are we getting these people? Who are these people? But look at North Dakota State. They've been Division II champions, and those guys maul people in their playoffs, because they have a playoff in Division II. And that's the other thing that makes it more impressive.
One thing about him, he's 48 games started, played on his whole time, has started every single game, no injuries, anything like that. So at least they've gone out and got some healthy guys. Luan James, another big, strong guy.
Yeah, Luan James from Tennessee. That guy is big and smart, and he's pretty athletic, let me tell you.
Would have been nice to get a true guard, even though Billy Turner can play the guard position as well. Another big monster. One guy that I personally did like and I think was a great pickup for us was Jordan Tripp. The linebacker, I think that was a great pickup. Chris Borland was on the board, but we heard a lot of shoulder issues with him. And I'm a huge Chris Borland fan, but if you're going to be a tackling machine, you have to have that shoulder to be reliable on.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, I was watching the draft day 1, day 2, day 3, all our picks. Dennis Hickey did a good job in the second round, kind of maneuvering and adding more picks to us. So let me tell you, I'm really impressed to all you guys out there that want to kind of jump on this guy already, when all he's done is nothing but make good moves to me with the free agency. And in the draft, we finally saw a GM who had a plan and stuck to it. He literally said, this is what we need, and we're going after it. I mean, we can go down the list. With the first round pick, 19th overall, we took Juwan James from Tennessee. Then they addressed receiver. I know you said you were, me too, I was a fan. I mean, you remember in my shows, we were talking, I was going for Kelvin Benjamin, and I keep saying big body wide receiver. But if there's any receiver you wanted to take that was kind of shorter, but when I say short, he's about 5'10", 5'11", but he's built like a tank for a receiver. He's about a good 210, 215, 220. He's
got a Steve Smith build to him.
Actually, he's more like, believe it or not, he can get, even with working out in the NFL, he can get to an Anquan Bolden status. And the way he grabs on that ball, it's like he has stickum in his hands. The guy just caught everything that Zach Mettenberger was throwing him. And he's very good going across the middle, not afraid to take a shot. You also have Billy Turner, like we talked about, from North Dakota State in the third round. You had Walt Aikens, a corner from Liberty, small school again. But guess what? This guy, when you look at his numbers and you saw what he did at that school, you're like, wow, it leaves you impressive.
This is one pick that I wish we would have taken Ross Cockrell here. He was available. Now we're going to be seeing that guy 2 times out of the season. Remember that name, people. Ross Cockrell will be playing for Buffalo now, and we will be throwing against him.
Yeah, no, he would have been a good shot. Out of all the picks here, the only ones I have a little bit of problem with was the wide receiver in the 6th round, Matt Hazel from Coastal Carolina. I really thought if you already took Landry, that was kind of a waste, because we look at the name, I see his build, he's a skinny kid. You're kind of hoping he makes a special teams. I think that was kind of a wasted pick. I do like, a lot of people were down on the Dolphins with that Terrence Feedy pick at the end of the 7th round. But let me tell you, this could be a steal. He's a big, strong dude.
You mean you didn't want Michael Sam?
Oh my God! I know what's his name. Who was it that got in trouble the other day for tweeting something out?
Oh, Mr. Jones.
Well, Mr. Jones, yes, who we drafted last year, basically put his foot in his mouth. He
he didn't do anything.
It was a tweet that said "OMG" and horrible. What does that have to mean? Come on. I think the NFL is getting a little way too sensitive. But that's going to be a topic we're going to hit on a little bit later. Again, just to kind of conclude on the Dolphin draft, I think they really hit on need. and positions that can contribute right away, whether it be special teams or on the offensive line.
Another future prospect for us that hopefully will bring in some attitude to this team and solidify this position. We had a big injury last season at this position, even though Clay stepped up, and that's the tight end Arthur Lynch. He's 6'5", very big target. Hopefully will come in and put a spark up these tight ends' ass and maybe help out and actually make it to that number 2, number 3 tight end.
Well, look, I'm on the record of saying this. I think Michael Egnew, this was his last season with us. I think, a guy like Arthur Lynch from Georgia, not only comes from the SEC, was getting the ball thrown to him by Aaron Murray. He's one heck of a blocker. I think that's the main reason the Dolphins got him. But when you watch this man run routes, he can run routes. He catches the ball well. Every time it was thrown to him, he didn't drop a pass. I think the guy's going to be solid. I think he's definitely going to compete with Deion Sims. Clay's got that spot locked up. So, Deion Sims is fighting for the number 2 spot. Deion Sims has the physical talents. There was just moments he disappeared last season. I don't know. So, I'm hoping Arthur Lynch comes in, like you said, lights a fire under him. Let's see him get that number 2.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sims, and I think he's going to play a lot better this season. Look for him a lot, guys.
Yeah, and I think with the addition of Noshawn Moreno, I think our running game is going to be a lot better this year. We didn't go running back in the draft, but that's because we said Noshawn Moreno, Lamar Miller is going to have another year at it. Tannehill now has no excuses. This is year 3.
You still have Gillisley.
Yeah.
You still have a few players on this team.
And honestly, just to finish this up, Tannehill, this will be the year that nobody can defend him after this. How much more can you surround the man with weapons? He's loaded at receiver now. He's going to have his tight ends. He's going to have a solid offensive line. Because now that offensive line is looking really good with depth, which is the important part. Yeah. We got running backs now. The problem was they couldn't pick up the blitz. We got Noshawn Moreno, who did that great for Peyton Manning last year. There's no excuse. And the defense is just solid. It's just solid.
Definitely. The Dolphins should be a top contender. If they're not, I definitely say this is a time where you start looking at Joe Philbin. Because this draft, honestly, it's all behind Philbin and Hickey. This is a tandem of picks. And they literally let Philbin basically have the majority on who's going to take their players.
Yeah, there's no excuse for Philbin here now. So we'll definitely keep that our eye on that. And can't wait look for training to start. And watch these Dolphins get back out on the field. But now, it's time to really keep it real on this Real Sports Show. And that's we're going to talk about a controversial topic out there right now. Not only just for the NBA or African Americans or anything like that, but it's in general to all people. And that's Donald Sterling. As you've heard lately, Donald Sterling now is basically telling the NBA, I'm not going to pay your $2.5 million, which to him that's nothing. But he's basically spitting in the NBA's face with that. And now he's got himself one of the top litigation lawyers out there who is saying that, it is unconstitutional, for what the NBA is trying to do here. You're trying to make a man sell his team. What's your opinion on this situation right now?
I'm totally against the comments that Mr. Sterling decided to make. And then again, at the end of the day, he is human. We all make mistakes. But this is one mistake that will never be erased. I think it's in the best interest to him to sell this team, so that he can just get away from this, move on, go on about your business with everything else. If he doesn't die soon, he's got plenty of money to enjoy for what's left of his life.
But the problem, do you also think that the NBA players are being a little exaggerated? They're literally saying that if this is not taken care of by the start of next season, they're going to walk out. They don't understand the litigation that goes beyond. When it gets into the courts, it's out of the NBA's hand.
Our very own LeBron James already said that he being the face of the NBA, basically, will create a boycott against Sterling. I can't say I'm against him, because what Sterling said was completely wrong.
Right.
But then again,
we have to look at it in the context of things.
He hasn't violated any NBA violations.
Can they make him step away?
Yeah. He used his freedom of speech. This is something that was between him and another woman.
Technically, it wasn't even invading his freedom of speech, because it's actually something more severe. That's a federal crime. Is that he got taped without even knowing.
That's another
granted, what he said was wrong.
It's completely wrong.
But if you're gonna go by the law, majority of people would like to go their way.
This is something that will be thrown. I believe
it's gonna take.
It will be thrown out in court.
You can maybe put the pressure on him to make things difficult for him, and he'll have to sell the team because fans. See, as the fans, they can stop going to Clipper games, and that's one way. The
players themselves can just say, I don't want to play for this organization, and the Clippers. There will be no NBA of Los Angeles Clippers, therefore forcing him to sell the team.
Yeah, he's going to have to, because he's not going to lose.
If he has no players and you have no ticket sales, you're basically
now. But for the whole NBA to get, I mean, I understand that they're trying to stick up for one another, and I understand they're trying to stand up for something, which is something you don't see too often these days. I get that, but to put a whole league at siege because you don't think that the courts are going to move quick enough? I mean, the NBA has no control over the court system. I mean, they're making it seem like if the NBA does not have Sterling and his family out of the Clippers completely by next season, then they're not going to play. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, they're doing that so that they can go ahead and fasten up this procedure, because if they don't do that, what's going to happen is they already know the courts are going to throw this out because this man didn't violate any.
But again, the NBA has no right in that way. They don't have the legal right to take away a team from Donald Sterling, and that's what I don't think the players are understanding. They think that by saying, we're not going to play for you next season if Sterling's name is even anywhere there. But guess what? It's going to still be there because they're in litigation. This litigation could take 2-3 years. Who knows how long? If it even...
But Sterling's not going to want 2-3 years to go down without making any money.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is that the players are kind of being unreasonable in their demand because they're basically telling the NBA, if you don't do this. But the NBA has they have no boundaries anymore once it leaves their hands.
That's why once it leaves their hands, the players will do what they have to do to make sure that this gets taken care of.
It's kind of a slippery slope right here.
It is. It is.
Because now you're fighting legal.
You can't force him to sell it. You definitely
the NBA can force him to be away, but it can still be his team.
That's still his team. But if you have no players, you have no team. There is no team without players. I mean, so it's going to come down to him not having any players. He has no players. He has no team.
The NBA is really, I feel bad for the NBA more than anything. It's not for the players, not for Sterling. I kind of feel bad for the NBA because they're in the middle. They try to do their part by coming out quickly and saying, that's it. He's suspended from all activities. You know, he's banned from the NBA. They're allowed to do that.
And the players are happy about that. But, they all congratulate.
But the thing is that the NBA has their hands tied once it gets into the court's hands. That's it. They're done.
And that's where the players know that the NBA did what they tried to do, what they can, knowing that in the end, it's going to get tossed out. Sterling's not going to have to pay those $2.5 million, which is a slap on the wrist for him. And he will have action back to his team because he did not violate any NBA violations. He did not violate anything.
No, it's definitely tough.
So
I mean, we can
it's basically going to come down to the players. The NBA already tried. They made their move, by fining him and saying he's banned. When it reaches courts are going to overturn that. So it's going to come back onto the players. The players are going to have to make the move of saying, we will not play. We won't play until he's tossed out, and that's going to force him to sell.
But then you also have to think about who's going to pay those players now. Because not everybody has an endorsement deal. Not everybody's LeBron James, $90 million for Nike, and I think it's more now. I mean, not everybody, even on the same Heat team. You got a Birdman who's there on a 1-year deal. He's not there making commercials. I mean, these guys are
I believe the league will go on. You just won't have a Clipper team.
Yeah, I mean,
it's 15 players you need to move around. Yeah. That's all it is.
I mean, basically, my last thought on this is because we can be here all day, as you can see, and I'm sure the players can see, and I hope some of these players do watch this show. And they hear our thoughts because look at us. We're just two regular guys who love sports, who basically can't even come to an agreement or even a thought of what is to go which way or what because we don't know either. We're giving you our opinions and what most people are thinking and saying, which is this is why it's Real Talk, Real Sports, because we're going to keep it real. We hear what everybody's saying out there. But at the end of the day, this can go on forever. Just like litigation can go on forever, we can have this topic all day long. And we're not going to agree, and we don't know what the outcome's going to be. All I hope is that the NBA players take things into consideration and realize there's just some things that you guys can do within the NBA association, and that's correct. If the NBA doesn't act on that, then jump on it. But also keep in mind that when it's out of the NBA's hands, you guys also know that it has to go through the courts process. In case a lot of you guys have been in trouble, that's the first thing you say. Don't call me guilty. I got to go through my process. Well, same thing here, guys. They got to go through the process. So again, my final thought is, guys, just keep your. I applaud you for having the gall, the audacity to fight the NBA on this and show them stand for something you believe in. But they also at the same time keep an open mind to what's going on behind the scenes as well.
Let's move on to these Miami Heat, man. They've played great in the playoffs.
We got the Indiana Pacers tomorrow at 3:30.
This is one matchup that the Pacers had their eyes set on all season long. This is what they worked hard for. This is what they put their team together for. It is for the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat have done this before. They have been there and beat this team before, and hopefully make it back to the NBA championship.
No, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a little worried. I know they win 4-0 in the first round and then 4-1 now. You know, there's just little things that are kind of bothering me. You know, if it's not LeBron or Wade hitting most of the points. I mean, and Bosch at times as well has gotten his touches.
Well, Bosch has been very
and Ray Allen was very good in this last series. But who else is scoring for the Heat? It gets a little dicey when you take away.
Well, that's the thing. This is that time where we're gonna have to see Greg Oden. Hopefully, this is what we brought him in for. I mean, be prepared to see Greg Oden get dressed.
Is he injured? That's the thing.
No, he will be playing now. This is what we've been conserving him for. What we've been holding on to him for is to have him 100% healthy to go up against Roy Hibbert, David West. Get in there, put some strong minutes, grab some boards, get some fouls. Create some rebounds.
You say the name David West, and that just brings chills up my spine, because let me tell you, if there is an MVP, I know everybody wants to sit out there and call Paul George, this and that, whatever. Honestly, it's David West.
Hey, that game 6, David West grabbed that team and said, get on my back, I'm taking you there.
If you watch basketball and you watch these Indiana Pacers in the playoffs, you see that a lot of times they're losing these games. In that fourth quarter with like 6, 7, 8 minutes left in the game, all of a sudden David West is a beast. He can't.
Well, one thing I gotta say is this team can have Paul George and David West play good, but if Hibbert does not play good, they don't win. It's a common fact already. If Hibbert does not reach 15 points, this team loses. And I think you will watch Udonis Haslem start in this series.
Honestly, what I would do is I would go to the old ways of the Bulls, where the Bulls had the three-headed monsters with Bill Wennington, Will Perdue, and Luke Longley. You got those big guys there for something. You know, Roy Hibbert wants to come in the paint, punish him. Punish him. You have Make him. Frustrate him. You see, he gets frustrated. He acts like a big baby. Then he doesn't want to take shots. And when he does, it's these crazy wild shots.
Birdman, play physical, beat him up, give him those nice little nudges. Haslem, you know, he's going to have to beat him up.
We got big guys. We got big guys there. You got Greg Oden there now. That's an extra 6 fouls. I'm not telling you that's what he's there for. But you know what? You want to come in the paint and you want to try to act big and bad that you wanted us? You're not going to get in there. Because when you do come in there, you're going to feel the old 80s, early 90s type of basketball. You're not getting to the basket.
Nothing easy.
Put him on the free throw line. Make him make a free throw. Get him frustrated. Get his teammates to get frustrated with. Because David West, the last few times I've seen him play, has definitely not had the good eye when he looks at Hibbert. He's had these faces that he makes at Hibbert every time that I think if he could choke him, he would. And you know, and then Paul George is another one, believe it or not. All you got to do is get under his skin, and he starts playing erratic.
We need James Jones to continue being what the Mike Miller that we had here.
You know what? Believe it or not, I hate to say it because I was always one that, you know, be like, look, the cripple's on the basketball court. But Mike Miller, believe it or not, this is where he's missed. Because Mike Miller, no matter what, he came off that bench, he was ready. He was going to hustle for you, and he was going to hit some big threes.
That's what James Jones has been doing.
But James Jones against the Nets has not did that. You know, LeBron begged Spoelstra to get James Jones out there. Where's James Jones? He hasn't been hitting a shot. He cannot create his own shot, which is not good, especially against a defensive team like the Pacers. So, you know, somebody else needs to come there and step up. Don't get me wrong. I think we should come out on this on top. I'm going to go 6 games, 4-2. But we definitely got to take game 1 from them in Indiana just to break their heart. They wanted the home court. They've been begging and crying and say they wanted the number 1 spot because this is what they needed it for. Well, guess what? Break their heart in game 1. And you're going to see the old Hibbert come out. You're going to see the old Indiana Pacers looking at each other. I don't know. Any final thoughts on this?
I have the Heat in 5.
Wow. 4-1.
Heat in 5. This is going to be a rematch. San Antonio will beat OKC. And I say that one will go 6 games.
Well, just to throw in there real quick, now that you bring up Oklahoma City and San Antonio, Oklahoma City's in trouble. They lost Serge Ibaka for the rest of the postseason.
That's it. He's done.
So they don't
That's why I'm giving my contendership.
Tim Duncan won't really be guarded by anybody in that way. But that should be actually a good series, though. I can actually see that series going 6-7. But I'm going to call it.
Is this season they have Russell Westbrook. Last season they didn't, and they still gave him a
who stepped up for them too is Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson is doing very good job off the bench.
You know, I'm going to go San Antonio 4-2 in 6 games. Just because that experience of San Antonio, Coach Popovich, that guy's just a brain when it comes to the way he knows how to manage his team. the way, people call them crazy. Oh, you're arresting people during the season. Well, guess what? Look at that full squad now.
They're back. We have a repeat of last year's Eastern and Western Conference Finals and a possible repeat in the NBA Finals. And hopefully the Heat do make it back.
Well, my final thoughts is Spoelstra, rest of the Heat, King James, D-Wade, Bosch. Hope you guys good luck on this series. Fight hard. Don't give up. Don't back down. Don't worry about crazy-ass Stevenson. That guy's nuts. All you got to do is get under his skin, too, and he just starts bouncing all over the court. Guys, salute to you guys. Good luck in Game 1. And can't wait to watch you guys at 3:30 tomorrow, taking on the Indiana Pacers. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Hey, all I got to say is go Heat. Take it to the rack. Draw those fouls, and you guys will be all right.
Well, and this will bring us up to our final topic of the day, which is going to be another dicey topic. I'm telling you, the sports nation is just... The way things are going in this world nowadays, things are just changing, and either we adapt or, we stay behind.
Hold on, before we start this, should I go get some cake?
Oh, God. Or maybe smudge it all over your face?
Yeah.
Look, guys. And obviously, if you know what we're talking about and you saw during the draft, or even all the highlights on ESPN and all the sport networks, even all the news, is Michael Sam. And Michael Sam, again, he's the first homosexual football player to come out, or athlete in general, to come out and
do this pre-draft
before he even got drafted. So I give him credit for having the guts and to stand up for what he believes in. But now it brings me to what I'm just a little bit irked about, or it just kind of grinds me a little bit.
And I think it's not just you; it's a lot of us. Everybody's bothered.
It seemed like it was planned.
Definitely.
Don't get me wrong. I understand the logic here. Well, if it was a man who's a straight man, who would he have turned to and kissed? We get it. He would have kissed his girlfriend or his mom, whatever.
Yeah.
So in this case, this is his lover, and he kissed his lover. Okay, fine. If it would have ended there. But it went from the rubbing of the muscles, the massaging, the crying all over him, and then they cut to another piece. They come back, and now they're smudging cake all in each other's face and making out with each other. Not for nothing. But at the end of the day, we have children watching this. At the end of the day, you don't want to make it to you're shoving it down somebody's throat. And it seemed like this was in your face to the NFL, to the public. This is who we are, take it.
Yeah, it could have been, I heard somebody say it the other day best. It could have been Tom Brady and Giselle. You have a regular congratulations, you get your kiss, you hug, and you're excited, emotions are flying. There's no need to take it above and beyond. We don't have to make out in front of children and smear cake all over each other.
Because even the straight guys that have done, how many straight guys have you seen do that?
And it never turns into that. There's no need to turn it up that notch.
Yeah, it just seems
now it's a reality show.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on this. Out of all networks, the O show, which is the Oprah Winfrey Network, and now St. Louis, believe it or not, was not even aware that they were talking about doing this. And all of a sudden, now how they're trying to defend it is by saying, well, they're not really going to come into the sporting complex. They're not going to really follow me around the football.
This is going to be a huge distraction to the Rams.
You got the O Network following Michael Samuel in a documentary, and you're not going to follow anything about him playing football. The whole thing is him being a gay athlete in sports, and you're telling me you're not going to follow him with him doing anything with sports? Look, already before he's even stepped foot on the field, it's become a circus.
Let me tell you, this is going to hurt him hugely. Before coming out to the public and announcing everything, he was a great athlete. Let me tell you, Michael Sam is not. He's no dud. He's no dud. This is one guy who with potential.
And he has a skill set that people want. He rushes a passer.
He's a pass rusher.
And he's in at the right time.
He can make it to a team where he can be that third down guy. He can become a good player and be an actively pass rusher to a team.
My thing is this.
But after all this has been going on, this is really going to hurt him. It's going to go against him. It's going to come back to the media because of his failure. They're going to use it, flip it, and say that it's because, now they're cutting him because he's a homosexual. Now they're not playing him as much because he's a homosexual. And everything comes back to that.
Or they'll even take away from him being drafted by saying, they only drafted to make it the public happy, but they always knew they were going to cut him. Yeah. So what does that say? If I was Michael Sam, I'd be offended because now you're saying that nobody drafted me because I can play football. They drafted me because I'm homosexual. If I remember correctly, before he came out, his first comments was, I want to make it clear that I want to be treated as a football player. Michael Sam, the football player.
Not the first homosexual football player.
And all of a sudden now you're getting all of this during the draft. Where did they go to? When they wanted to show the celebration of Michael Sam being drafted, where did they go first? To a gay club in San Francisco is where they went to show people celebrating. Why? Have you ever gone to a club anywhere else to show people celebrating who got drafted? Why did you have to literally go find a gay community, a gay area to find? Why? Why did you? So you want people to acknowledge you as a football player, and the NFL wants people to acknowledge you as a football player, but yet the media, their first focus was, let's go watch the gay community celebrate for Michael Sam. Or every time he didn't get picked, they would go to that same bar and watch those people with those faces, those long faces and the boo. Why? You don't go anywhere else to do that.
Yeah, I think this is just something that the media has latched onto. They're trying to run with it, see how long they can extend it. Yeah. And it'll die out. It's one of those things that is just going to be there, nagging like a gnat for a while, but eventually it will die out.
I mean, honestly, I know it was pretty tough for Michael Sam to come out and do all he had to deal with. But believe it or not, I mean, I know players aren't going to admit it, and they're not going to say it out loud because of, politically correctness things now. And, they don't want to get fined and things like that. But I can see players taking some shots at him during practice.
Well, not only that, but you got to remember, this is also going to bring back the hazing. Yes, the Dolphins had issues here for the bullying and all that, but you got to remember this rookie hazing and messing with rookies and doing practical jokes on them. This is something that has been going on for ages. It's basically tradition to do this to rookies. And, as straight men, they do gay pranks and this and that. Yeah. So now when this comes back to him, will this be taken literally? Will it be taken as a joke? What's going to be going on with that as well?
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here. If I was Michael Sam, I'd actually pull some silly jokes and some pranks myself, even as a rookie, just so they can see, hey, Michael Sam's cool, man. He's okay with it. Yeah. He just used something, I'm not saying use a slur, but go ahead and, if you want to make fun of something, oh, man, that's gay. Oh, man, come on, something like that. So they go, oh, look, he even used to do, okay, he's not all uptight. We don't have to fear Michael Sam. We don't have to worry about him running to the human resources of the team. He's one of us. We can joke with Michael Sam.
I will tell you one thing. Michael Sam looks like no Jonathan Martin.
Yeah, Jonathan Martin. Let me tell you, I mean, at least Michael Sam looks like he can stand up for himself. And I hope so. I hope he really does show people, hey, look, I'm Michael Sam. I'm a man at the end of the day. Just because I choose this as my preference doesn't make me any less of a man than you. I hope that's how he comes in and does. I really do hope so.
I do tell you this. He landed in a great system. He
landed with a good coach, Jeff Fisher.
And he landed in a good system of rotational guys. I mean, they got a great defensive line.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to have to come in and be a star.
They went out and got Aaron Donald as well.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a lot of people being double teamed that will give him the potential to get in there and become an effective pass rusher.
And like I said, going to a good coach, a solid coach, a disciplinary coach, a coach who's going to be there for his players as well in Jeff Fisher. And he doesn't leave Missouri. He stays in St. Louis, which is right there. So the media already knows him as well. So, that's perfect for him.
All I can say is, Michael Sam, I wish you the best. But let's leave all the media circus.
Make the team first. Let's make the team first. And then if you want to do outside things, go ahead. But, hey, I'm wishing you good luck. And but just keep it about football, man. Don't let people forget, even the people around you. Don't let the people around you all of a sudden convince you that you need to be a representative of gay America. You don't. You need to be Michael Sam, who just happens to be gay.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it all for our show today. Full of a lot of topics, a lot of emotional topics. We're feeling the beat out there of the people, the pulse of the people out there, things that they've been talking about. We hear it at work, we hear it around, and we're bringing it out there to you guys. And we're keeping it real. We're not holding nothing back. That's it for today's show. This is my host, Michael Sanchez, my co-host, Michael Sanchez, and I'm your host, Anthony Sanchez. And stay tuned to our following show. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to us. All right, have a good one, and see you to the next show.